Dun, 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 and we get to Ed. Now, Ed Keay-Smith, did I get it right? Yes. Finally. I pronounce his surname horribly wrong a lot of the times, and I've known the man for many, many years, and although I now pronounce his name correctly, I still have known him for a number of years. He is the expert in online marketing, particularly Google AdWords, and I've had a glimpse of his slides and of what he's going to share. And pay attention, people, because he's teaching you on how to make money out of using Google Ads. So it's not a cost to your business anymore, it's a profit-generating activity. So put your hands together and welcome Ed Keay-Smith from Online Impact.
So, I'm on. Awesome. Cheers. Hello, everyone. Great to see you all. Thanks for coming out on this starting to get wintry evening. I'm off to Albany tomorrow for 4 days. Myself and my wife and daughter are heading down there. Should be a bit of fun. We're leaving the dog behind. The dog was actually born in Albany, so she's upset with us that we're not taking her back to see her mother and her father. She's a cavoodle, and every time I have one of these in my hand, these remote control PowerPoint things, I think of her. Because I got it out of my bag one day, and oh, there you go, the red dot, and she started chasing it. She saw it on the carpet, and that was it. Now she runs up and down. Every afternoon she goes up to my bag, where I keep it, and scratches on it, says, right, get that damn thing out, I want to chase it. I'm going to catch it one day. She's never caught the red dot, but she's determined that she will catch it. I'm going to stand down here so you're not getting sore necks looking at me up on the stage. A brief history, Online Impact, we've been around now for 12 years. We initially didn't start out that name, we were called AdWords Marketing when we first started, and it was only me. That was in 2003. Now there is 14 of us in the company, my business partner as well included in that. We have web developers, search engine optimization people, ad campaign managers and content writers. So we sort of provide a whole end-to-end solution in terms of web marketing. So in terms of Google AdWords, say it's been around since 2002, 2003, and it is a paid advertising system through Google. Can I have a show of hands who actually uses Google AdWords in their business at the moment? Wow, that's exciting. There's only 3 of you. Okay, cool. Who has actually tried Google AdWords and thought it sucked? And spent a lot of money and goes, that's just horrible. I don't want to use it anymore. Okay, there's many people who come under that category and that's okay. The unfortunate thing with Google AdWords is it's simplistic in its nature in terms of you're just going to put some ads in your system and pay some money and then all of a sudden the magic will happen. But unfortunately it's not quite as simple as that. There are a lot of nuances to setting up a Google AdWords campaign correctly, and if you don't set it up correctly, it's a very quick way to max out your credit card and not actually get any results. So it's very important that you plan ahead and structure what you're doing with your ad campaign, and that way you will stand a greater chance of making a return on your investment. So that button's really worn out there. All right, one of the things we like to say to keep in mind is Google AdWords is just one spoke in the marketing wheel. So over here, we've got some variations of what you can actually do in terms of where you're spending your money with your marketing. Google AdWords is just one of them. So I suggest to people, don't just rely on Google AdWords as a form of marketing and a form of where you're spending your advertising dollars. There are other very effective places to go as well. Not trying to do myself out of any business because we do lots of the other things, but the premise is go where your target market is. Okay? If you don't understand your target market to begin with, where are they spending their time? Where are they spending their money? You might be far better off doing advertising or paid advertising on Facebook because that may be where your target market is. Or it could still be Yellow Pages. Believe it or not, Yellow Pages still exist. Who uses Yellow Pages for advertising? Okay? Now, Nick, the reason you use it is because it works. Gets results. Okay. So don't, just because Yellow Pages isn't necessarily as strong as it used to be, if your potential demographic or user group is still using Yellow Pages, advertise in Yellow Pages, okay? So try and think of things globally and not just because it's the latest trend. A lot of clients come to me and say, we've got to get on social media, we've got to get on social media. And I say, why? Why do you need to be on social media? They don't actually know the answer. They just hear everyone else saying they need to get on social media. Find if their target market is there. So pay-per-click advertising, and anyone who wants a copy of the slides, feel free to email me at the end. My email address will be on there, and I'm happy to send you a PDF of the slides so you've got this, because there's a fair amount of detail. So it's a cost per click. So we put an ad in the system. We set up a free account with Google AdWords. You put an ad, write an ad for what it is you're trying to target within the system, and we use keywords to do that. So if you're someone that has accommodation in Perth that you're selling, you might be using a keyword term like Perth accommodation. Or if you're selling pet supplies, it could be, you know, dog food or pet leashes or dog leads or whatever it is. People are actually searching on Google like we all do every day and put in keyword terms, and we're actually paying for ads that appear in the search results. Who at the moment uses Google primarily as their search engine? Okay. Does anyone use anything else as a search? Does anyone use Bing? Okay, a few people. Don't discount Bing, because even though we're primarily focusing on Google AdWords at the moment, Bing is still a good option. Bing is Microsoft's pay-per-click advertising and search engine. So that is actually something to consider as well, because the cost per click with Bing is often smaller. So you need to check that online demand exists online for anything to do with search marketing, because if no one's actually searching for your products and services online, then having a search campaign or a pay-per-click advertising campaign is potentially just going to be a waste of time. So there are tools. There's something called the Google Keyword Planner that you can use. I'll have an example of that in a minute. So that's something to use to actually determine how many people are searching on keyword terms for your target market in your location. Chatting with Ian before, Ian wasn't aware that with Google AdWords you can geographically target in to your target market. So if you have an office in Osborne Park, you can actually set up ads that say only show ads to people within a 10 kilometre radius or a 15 kilometre radius of your office, okay? And that's based on the IP address of where the searcher is. So that limits and reduces your cost per spend, or cost per click I should say. I had a client who had a pest control, they still do, they're still a client. They're in Rockingham, they had someone else managing their Google AdWords campaign. When I took it over, the ads were targeting all of Australia, and they were in Rockingham. And they were wondering why they were spending so much and not getting the return. A 2-minute thing that made the difference, and changing it to geographical location of where they are, and now they're getting lots of business for a lot lower cost. Stupid little beginner mistakes like that is often what happens when new people come in to set up a Google AdWords campaign and they don't know just these little nuances that make a big difference. It's a massive, massive marketing system. A lot of people say people don't click on Google Ads. No, I don't click on the Google Ads. Well, it doesn't matter what you do and how you act. It's how the majority of people in the world search for on Google. So there's over $100 million a day that Google's making, and that's a little bit old, on Google AdWords. And that's across their search network and across their display network. So the display network is where ads appear on other websites. You've probably seen them. You go to another website, it could be about horses, could be about whatever, could be about something you shouldn't be looking at, and you'll see, what are you laughing? What are you laughing at, you people out there? Terrible. So it's only getting bigger and bigger. It's a massive market, and you can get your slice of the action. It's not just for all the big players with a lot of money, but if you do it stupidly and incorrectly, you'll pay a lot of what we call stupid tax. Nothing to do with tax accounting. It's just you end up spending a lot of money and not getting a return. So we've all seen typically the search results lay out like this. The top left-hand corner, now typically it's not showing up on these slides here. In the top left-hand corner, that'll have a yellowed out background when you're looking at it. So they're Google AdWords. The ones over to the far right are Google AdWords. And we have Google Places. Now, as an aside, Google Places is a quick win, I would classify. If you're actually wanting to get some good traction and you have a local business with a presence or an office, make sure you have a Google Places or a Google My Business, it's called now, system set up and populate that properly, because you can actually get a lot of traction and customers through a really well set up Google Places listing. If you don't have one set up and you want to know how, talk to me at the end and we'll sort that out for you. No, there's no cost to have a Google Places listing. So that's one of the great things about it. So we've got the paid ads here, Google Places listing here, and then below that typically you'll see the organic search results. So that will be one of the areas that people talk about when we're talking about SEO or search engine optimization. So we typically try and get up the top left-hand spot there. That's where the majority of the eyeballs are, and that's where they're looking. People still do click on the ads here, but you get less volume. But quite often you can get good results with having your ads on that right-hand side as well. So don't discount that. It's not always best to be in the top left-hand spot. So I often get clients saying that their advertising wasn't profitable, and several people in the room have said that. So they've stopped using it. I would suggest if you tried it and you didn't have any success with it in the past, certainly consider doing it again. I'm not necessarily saying come to me for me to do it, but you do need to educate yourself. There's a great book written by a good friend of mine called Perry Marshall, and the book is called The Ultimate Guide to Google AdWords. Write this down. If you want to learn how to do it yourself, and you don't want someone like me to do it for you, write this down. The Ultimate Guide to Google AdWords. You can get it as a physical book from most bookstores, or you can get it on Kindle, about $15. I think it's about 370 pages long. So it's a big book, but if you actually go through that book and study it, you will cut out 95% of the mistakes most people make when they set up a Google AdWords campaign. The Ultimate Guide to Google AdWords. Perry Marshall. So, commit to your PPC or your pay per click. Lots of acronyms in our game. It drives people mental. So just make sure that you commit to doing it properly. Don't just randomly set something up. It's a bit like all of a sudden trying to be, bless you, it's a bit like trying to become an expert in anything. You need to put the time and investment and money into learning how to do it. So commit to your pay-per-click campaign. Yes, James.
Are there any types of businesses that suit pay-per-click better than others? Are there some that shouldn't be advertising?
Difficult question, because it really does cover a massively broad spectrum. Like our list of clients, we've got about 150 clients. They're in all sorts of industries. Some do better than others. Typically we find people that have service businesses that have a decent profit point in what they're selling can quite often do better and get greater leverage, because their cost of advertising is certainly outweighed when they get a client. It's a lot more difficult if you're in the e-commerce business or selling commodity products that only have small margins. They are a lot harder to get working with a Google AdWords campaign. So really we'd have to assess your business and look at what's going to be effective for you. So you need to be organised. Now, for those that don't have a Google AdWords campaign, some of this won't make any sense, but if you actually go in and set one up, it will. Hence the reason I say, feel free to get a copy of the slides off me. You need to be structured with how you set up your campaign. We have what we call the umbrella section, so the head section, which is the categories, and then we have ad groups. So the campaigns and then ad groups. And that allows you to target very specifically where your ads are going to show. So you could have a campaign that is set up targeting your marketplace that's only in Australia. So the ads are set up just to target people in Australia. If you're selling products and services overseas, you can have another campaign that targets the UK or the US. And then within each of those campaigns, we have ad groups. So say, for example, I'm going to use the generic example of widgets. So within an ad group, you could be selling blue widgets, red widgets, and yellow widgets. You would have an ad group for each of those categories. One of the things with AdWords that is advantageous is when someone does a search on yellow widgets and an ad appears saying that you're the yellow widget company, and they click on that ad, you want to take them through to the page that's relevant on that subject. You don't just take them through to your home page. That is the rookie mistake that 90% of people make when they set up a Google AdWords campaign. They send all the traffic for their specific keyword term to their homepage. Bad idea. Bad idea. Don't do that. Send it through to a specific page within your website that is about that product or that service. Makes sense, doesn't it? Okay, so you're matching your message to the marketplace. You're taking them from what they just searched on. They've told you what they want by their keyword phrase that they've just put in. Take them through to that page on their website, and that way you have a much higher chance of getting a conversion by sending that traffic through to that page. Who agrees that makes sense? Awesome. I love it when you guys put your hands up. Fantastic. So be organised and set up a structure. It's really, it takes a bit of time to do. I'm going to pose for Fleur, she's taking a photo. No. Okay. Adjust your match types. Now this won't necessarily make any sense at the moment, but you can be very specific with how you set up the keyword terms within your campaign. So a variation of, say for example, someone who's searching for dog supplies may be displayed an ad meant for puppy supplies. Okay, so they're two very different things. The word dog and the word puppy are the words that differentiate how the ads are showing up. Because if you're only selling puppy supplies and not dog supplies, you don't want your ad appearing for someone who just searched on dog supplies. So that you can get very specific with how you filter out your keyword terms. Now this, so don't lose me here. This is something that you'll get used to if you start doing the campaigns yourself. It just enables you to actually save a lot of money by not getting people clicking on your ads that are not relevant to you. That is one of the biggest losers of money within AdWords, is people not setting this side of things up correctly, so they don't have specific keyword terms targeted correctly for each of their ads. People, like you've probably often seen it, if you go and do a search on something right now on Google, you'll see ads appear for the term that you just searched in that make no sense. You think, why is that company? Who's seen that? Who's seen things pop up and you go, why is that showing up? Now that's because their ad campaign has not been set up correctly. Now if you were someone that actually didn't read the ad, which is quite a lot of people, and you clicked on it, that's just blown $1, $5, $10. Now the thing with Google AdWords and cost per click advertising, you've got to remember every time someone clicks on one of your ads, it's costing you money. Depending on the keyword term, it could be 50 cents, it could be $50. Now, you control your budget. You can set a budget for $10 a day, how much you want to spend on AdWords. You can set it for $10,000. We've got clients within that range. We've got clients that are spending $5,000, $6,000, $7,000 per day on their advertising campaigns. So, but there's a reason they're doing that. It's because they're making lots of money from the products and services that they're selling. They're a law firm, by the way, just in case you're wondering. Why are you all laughing at that? Hip pocket nerve, we call it. So, at the end of the day, you have complete control of how much you're spending. So you can do a lot of testing with AdWords and actually pick a little segment within your business, set up an ad campaign just for that. Don't try and do the whole thing all at once. If you have hundreds of products or services, don't try and do everything at once. Pick one area, pick your most profitable area, and try an ad and some marketing with that. Okay? So we also recommend using negative keyword terms. Again, this will make sense to you if you're actually within your Google AdWords campaign. Negative keyword terms are another level of filtering out your ads from not appearing to people that you don't want them to appear to. So we have some examples there. Quite often people look for things that are free. So they might want a free tax accountant. We don't want people that want a free tax accountant, right? No. God, no. We don't want people who want things for free unless you have things for free that are relevant that you're giving away. But if you wanted to eliminate your ad showing up for someone typing free tax accountant service, you would use the negative keyword term free in your campaign or in your ad group. So therefore, your ads will not show up when someone does a search on that. And there's no limit to how many negative keyword terms you can have. You can filter out places. Like if someone's looking for tax accountant Melbourne, okay, I see this happen all the time. You probably won't be doing business with someone in Melbourne necessarily. Depends. Okay, that was a bad example on my behalf. What you were supposed to say is no. No, we don't. No, but that wouldn't be any good for you, so that's okay. I'm going in the corner. No, not really. So you can actually filter out suburbs, you can filter out states, you can filter out all sorts of things with your negative keyword list. This very rarely ever gets used. The amount of campaigns I actually go into to take over for clients that have been having it managed by someone else or trying to do it themselves, very rarely is that ever filled in, the negative keyword section. And it is a massive loss in terms of your money. So negative keyword match is critical. As an aside, a conversation I was having earlier, for those who don't know it, Google is cracking down big time before the end of this month for websites that are not mobile friendly. Has anyone seen that going around? Okay. If your website is not mobile friendly, Google will start to penalise your search results for that because they're trying to promote mobile friendly because we've all got these... Ooh, awesome, sorry about that. We've all got these mobile phones, smartphones, whatever you want to call them. People who have iPhones, they're called smartphones. People who have Androids, they're called dumb phones, okay? I didn't say that out loud, did I? Sorry, that was just a thought I had. Okay. No, I don't care. Really, they're all the same to me. So, but the point is about 30 to 40% of visitors and traffic that come through to our clients' sites across all the companies we deal with are on mobile devices, okay? So if your website has to be double tapped and pinched and squeezed and to get to work, you're going to lose your client regardless of what Google does, because if they go to your website and that's what it does, bad idea. Who has a site built in WordPress? Okay, excellent. For the rest of you, that's not a big issue. You can still sort this out, but WordPress makes it a lot easier to have your website mobile friendly. There's a plugin that you can use called WP Touch, or WP Touch Pro, I think it's called. And if your website is not mobile friendly, and there's a test you can do, I don't have the URL on the slides, but if you do a search for mobile friendly Google test, write this down. Sorry? No, I don't want to touch a pro, thank you very much. He's such a bad man. There has to be someone that gets dirty in the room. That's my job, that's my job. Okay. So no, do not Google touch a pro. Google friendly website test, something like that, you'll get it. And you click this page and you go through to it's a Google page and you can input your website into that page and it will tell you, as far as Google's concerned, whether it is mobile friendly. You'll actually see a green bar that comes up and says awesome with an exclamation mark. Your site is mobile friendly. I'm not exaggerating. If you get a big red cross, don't panic. You can get it sorted, but it's happening within the next 7 days. Yep. So, if you want to know more about that at the end or at the break, have a chat to me. Test your ad copy. This is so underdone, it's not funny. Now, when we say ad copy, we mean the ads that actually appear in the display when people, thank you, in the display. So, make sure you write an ad that matches your message to the marketplace. Write something that's going to be compelling. Write something that they'll want to click on. So don't just put something up there that's dead boring like all of your other competitors. Do some research of what your other competitors' ads look like when you do a search on your keyword terms. And write something that is benefit driven, that stands out from the other advertisers, and it will get people clicking on your ads. Now, with ads, we can actually have multiple ads showing. We can do what we call split testing. So split testing enables us to, say, run 2 ads that are competing against each other. We do what we call a 50-50 split test. So the ad gets shown evenly across time, over time, so that we can determine by the visitor or by the searcher which ad we've written is actually getting the most traction. So then we're not guessing whether our ad is any good or not. We're actually letting the marketplace tell us. One of our favourite sayings in the business is, there is no marketing genius except for the market itself. The market will determine whether you've written a good ad. So if you have 2 ads that are running side by side and getting rotated evenly, the marketplace will tell you which one is the best. Ditch the crappy one, the one that gets clicked on the most, That's a good starting point when you've just started a new campaign. Then you can write another ad to try and beat that control ad. Sounds a bit woohoo at the moment. Again, get into the Google AdWords system and set up the free account, and this will start making sense to you. So don't leave it to chance. This is really important. Again, these are the 5 points I've shown you here are the most common things that are not done. This is what we see time and time again. People are not doing these simple things, and these things can make up about 85% of your success. So make sure you take those into account. Okay, you can only, change only when you can see what is not working. Don't just make random changes for things that you think are good, or you just want to change for change's sake. Make data-driven decisions. Those of us in the room who are not accountants or people who like numbers, who loves dealing with numbers? All the bookkeepers, put your hand up. Okay, so one person in the room likes numbers. 3, no, we've got a few more. And they are both people in the bookkeeping industry. So that's great. That's great that the rest of you don't like numbers, but it is important that you actually get a grip on what your campaign is doing. And AdWords is all numbers driven, okay? It is a thing you need to monitor. So make the refinements and changes as you go with your campaign. Don't just set them up and leave it to chance and let it run. You need to be looking at this on a daily basis once you start out a new campaign. Don't just set it up, leave it for a week, come back and go, oh, what happened? And there's a $1,000 charge on your credit card. Make sure in your settings you actually control your daily spend. That's very important. A lot of people forget to do that, and they have it set too high and they spend $1,000 a day and then have a big heart attack. This has happened many times. So control your daily ad budget. So keywords, keyword planner is important to use. That is within the actual site itself. Within Google AdWords you can use the keyword planner. That will enable you to establish how many people are searching on certain keyword terms in local or in Australia or global. So that's an important one. Google Keyword Planner. Write the URL down if you want, or you can just search on Google Planner. Google Keyword Planner. And that's very hard to see because it's so small and no one's going to be able to see it in there. So, but if you want the slides, just let me know. This is giving an example of people who have searched on Perth accommodation, and in people searching for that was 5,400 times a month, Perth accommodation, okay? At an average cost per click, which it also tells you, of $5.70. So this is where you're paying $5.70 a click. You want to make sure that you're getting the right traffic to your system. Yes?
Is there an amount which, an affordable amount which is legal in terms of the
All depends on your business. There's no simple answer to that, unfortunately, because an example, if you're in a Perth company that provides accommodation and you say, look, I only want to spend $10 a day as my maximum spend, and Perth accommodation as a keyword term is $5 odd a click, you're going to get 2 visitors to your site. So now that's going to take a lot of time and a lot of effort to get anywhere. So you have to be realistic. You've got to look at what your competitors are spending, which you can't actually find out exactly, but you get a rough idea. So unfortunately, it's different for everyone. Yes. Questions and answers. Timing.
How does Google, well, I don't know, but for example, if you are a dog supply owner and you've put your parameters in.
Yep.
Okay. Because there's only a certain number of ads that appear at the top.
Yep.
How does Google define that it's only the top 3, top 5 or whatnot?
Okay, primarily it's based on the bidding system. So whoever's paying most per click for that particular keyword term, because you can have thousands of keyword terms in your ad campaign. Whoever's paying technically the most will be in those higher sections. But Google actually also rewards people who set their ads up and are relevant to what the marketplace is looking for. So if your ad's starting getting clicked on more than your competitors, you could be sitting in position number 1 paying $5 a click. Your competitor could be in position number 2 paying $5.50. So you can actually get greater leverage and lower your costs the more relevant you are to your marketplace. So that's why it's important to target the keywords and write the ads correctly. Jim.
What about devious competitors who
once a day. I get this question 5,000 times a day, and it's a very good question because it is, we would call it click fraud. So if your competitor comes along and clicks on your ads all day, right, they can only do that once in a 24-hour period based on their IP address. And Google has very sophisticated tracking systems, so if they see lots of activity coming from one IP, they actually will credit money back to your account. Very rarely does it happen with our clients in 12 years, but it's a very good question that everybody asked. Now, thank you for listening. For those who are interested, I'm actually offering a 30-minute free consultation, something I do not do. But because Fleur got my arm and she twisted it behind my back, she said, right, you're not leaving this room unless you give them something for free. And it's only available to Out of the Box Biz members, this. So if you're not a member, join up tonight and then you can get it. So,
Thanks, Ed.
No, seriously, and it ends next Monday. And I do not go back on I do not deviate from my offers. So don't come to me on Tuesday and say, can I still get it? Because the answer, I guarantee you, will be no. I am a stickler for sticking to your offer dates. So if anyone wants to look over, we can review your ad campaign, we can look at your overall marketing strategy and see where there's some things that can be improved. I'll give you some valuable tips in the time, and then it's completely up to you what we do from that point on, but we can talk about it from there. Email me, ed@onlineimpact.com.au if you want a copy of the slides. Happy to send those to you in a PDF format, and also contact me if you want to chat about the free consult. Yes?
Are you an expert on the other side of things where you're actually trying to make money by showing that?
Oh, as in Google AdSense? So you're talking about making money from advertising?
Yeah.
Well, I know a lot about it, but it's not something that I promote that I know.
Okay, can I interrupt?
Absolutely.
Is Ed the expert I said he was? He was? Do you believe it? He is?
I just
The man
made that
is the
all up, by the way.
expert. So we're going into a break now, so I encourage you to spend some time with him. If you want to take up the offer, Out of the Box Thinkers, hand him your business card tonight or email him. If you're not a member, I'm available if you'd like to join.
Awesome.
So we will regroup at 8:20 sharp.